Now, our personality today is a young man who's providing a solution to the harmful things we're doing to our environment, to deforestation, and also making the process of cooking a little bit healthier for all of us. Over 90% of the trees we cut down in this country are used as firewood and charcoal. These two things pollute the environment. They are dangerous to our health. And we all have mothers, sisters, brothers who have been inhaling this for years just because they need to cook. Now, the World Health Organization says that 4 million people globally die of indoor air pollution every year, and he's solving this problem. His name is Amin Sulley. He's the CEO of Zaacoal. He's going to tell us all about his business, what drives him, how he ended up on this path. And if you have any questions for him, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. And I must say that I met him about 5 years ago when he was just starting, and it's been an absolute pleasure to see his journey. Good morning.
Good morning, Jifa.
How are you?
Very good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Firstly, tell us about Zaacoal. What's the problem you guys are solving? How has the journey been?
So I'll first of all tell you why the name Zaacoal. So Zaacoal actually is a merger of two words.
Okay.
Zafi, which is a Hausa word that means hot, and then coal put together. So literally Zaacoal means hot coal.
Okay.
So I'm sure by the name you know we're into coal production, in fact in a very good way. So what Zaacoal does basically is we pick up coconut waste from these coconut vendors around the city, and then we take it to our factory and then further process it into clean, affordable charcoal.
What made you guys decide to solve this problem?
I actually didn't set out to do this.
Really?
Yeah, it was out of curiosity.
Okay.
Like, hey, there's too many coconuts in town.
Everywhere.
I'm seeing this everywhere. What were they doing with the waste? Can we use it for anything? I get surprised why I'm even doing this, but maybe that's what I was made to do. So I'm enjoying it. It's been a bit challenging, but I think life itself is challenging. We learn to live with it.
So how did you even end up on this path? I mean, where did you grow up?
Yeah.
You know, what did you want to be as an adult when people would ask you as a kid?
Okay, so I actually was born in Accra.
Okay.
In Fadama, and then lived most of my growing up years in Sunyani.
Okay.
And I've always been a DJ. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, I've been a DJ. I've played music. I've played in all the big clubs, all the big parties. So Chaco is really like a dream. It's a far cry of who I used to be. But it's interesting. You see, after uni, I went to UDS. After uni,
What did you study at UDS?
I did community development.
Okay.
So growing up, I always wanted to be like a UN
Type of
employee.
guy. Why?
Exactly. I think growing up, I was watching too many movies, and then you would see these UN guys go in and save
the world.
These refugees, and then you see guys with UN behind them. So I always knew this was what I wanted to be. So I chose community development because I wanted to end up working with UNDP.
Okay.
Exactly, the development part of the UN program. So after school, I realized, Charlie, no job.
Oh.
Okay. I was still DJing. I was the official DJ for Foresight TV for a long time.
Okay.
And still decided I would read law. But along the line, I felt like I was enjoying independence. I was enjoying the freedom to do everything I wanted to do. Like, imagine if I had a 9-to-5 job. I couldn't go play the nightclub. I couldn't go play the parties. So that freedom got so much to me. I chose to read law because I felt with that, I don't have to be in an office morning to evening. I would have the time and also help. Maybe that could lead to the UN dream. But in that process of reading law, I was doing University of London Law in Osu Empire. I started with Zenith and then Zenith University, and I ended up Osu Empire. So it was on the usual commute through the Osu Oxford Street going to class that subconsciously you realize that like joke, every junction,
every block there's
somebody
coconut
selling coconuts. So as a very curious person, I would buy coconut and ask, Charlie, what do you do with the waste? And they'll tell me, oh, we even pay the waste guys, the Aboboya guys, to pick it up. Some will say they push it to the beach. Eventually, I felt like I was getting too interested in this thing. So I would even go to say, take me to where you dump it. So usually from class, I'll follow them to go and see where they were dumping it. That was behind the Independence Square. You go to East Legon, you deal with them, and I follow them to where they were dumping it. I went as far as Kaswa, like almost everywhere they sold coconuts. I was just curious. At the time, I had nothing to do with coconut. I didn't even have any idea what to do. But along the line, I felt like, okay, this thing, it's so much in the city. And there are huge, like, mountains of these things everywhere you go. After writing my exams, I felt like I had time. It wasn't the Christmas season, so there were no more shows to be going up and about. So I felt like, okay, with this free time, let me find something to do with this coconut. So that was when I got so much into this coconut thing. And one day we went to buy kenke in Fadama. And then we realized the kenke seller was actually cooking with the coconut waste instead of firewood. Yeah. So you see it a lot around. So that was actually where
you connected the dots.
That was my eureka moment.
Wow.
Like, oh, okay, so she's using this instead of firewood. This is even free. The people will even bring it to her. The firewood she would have used is actually the raw material for charcoal.
Yeah.
So is it possible we could use this thing to also make charcoal? I don't know how to make charcoal. I have no experience in that area. But then because I schooled in UDS, we ran this thing called the third trimester program where you spend one whole semester in a rural community. You live with them, you get to see their life, and then you write proposals at the end of the coursework. So I remember going to WA and then worked with these guys that make charcoal just to understand the science behind it. At the time, I used to live at Fadama. There was no way I could have done it how those guys were doing it because it was a very smoky and unpleasant process. So gradually, I decided, okay, now with the understanding of the science and art behind it, we need to modify it so we could do it in such a residential area without people complaining. And that's how the whole idea started. I remember I tested it in a tomato can, a very small one. It was just one guy walking around with tissue barrel full of coconut and asked him, Charlie, dump this thing here for me. So the next day we experimented with it. It worked well, but it was very small. So we had moved from a tomato can. We moved to a bucket. It worked well. And I was getting so excited about this whole thing. I don't know why. So I remember the day we tried in the bucket, it worked. That same day, I asked, where can I get a bigger bucket?
Wow.
Then I was directed to go to Abobloshi. I drove straight to Abobloshi. I went to buy like 3 barrels. I came back, put in more coconut to see if it would work. The same process. It worked very well. And I felt so much in love with the process because I had time at the time. I had time. There was no more school, no more shows. So I was enjoying it. You just wake up, in front of the house, you are burning something. People would walk and be watching this guy. What's wrong with him? I had this friend that lived opposite my house called Zach. Zach was very helpful. He literally just came in, let's do this. Wow. Even though he didn't even understand what I was doing. Let's do this. So now we began moving to Abobloshi, buying more barrels. But still, we also were emitting too much smoke. So I remember going back to the same Abobloshi, and then we designed a chimney where the smoke would go up instead of going into people's houses. Okay. So it was just something we were doing for fun.
What year was this?
This is like 2013, like June 2013,
So how did you now end up with the final product? How long did it take for you to get, now I have my bag of Zaacoal?
I think when the excitement began, within a week, I had gotten my way around it.
Wow. So there people are looking at what the finished product is right now. How did people react when they first saw it?
I think because of my background in the arts, as in the DJ, I do graphic design, I do video editing, like on the side. I appreciate art. So from day one, I actually made sure we will stand out from everybody else.
Yeah.
And because of that background too, I'm in contact with a lot of artists too. So I can just call somebody, Charlie, I have some concert, do some mock-up, make we see. So all these packages you're seeing were designed 2014.
Wow.
All these designs you're watching were done in 2014. So you can imagine how long it has taken to now get a product out. It's interesting. Like,
how has the journey been? I mean, you've gone on to win so many competitions. You've got funding. How was it like winning your very first competition?
I think my very first competition, you were there. Yeah, I think it was at iSpace.
iSpace, yeah.
Good. Even though I was in the arts, I am extremely reserved, very like low key. So at the time, I was doing this to boost my confidence. So most of these pitch events, even though the main goal was to get some money, was to boost my confidence enough to be able to even speak in public. So I used that as a platform to build myself.
Wow.
So the first pitch event I won was a huge boost for me.
Yeah.
I remember I actually did that whole presentation in my car while I was packed downstairs, because I had never done anything like that. I didn't even know that whole world.
Yeah.
You need to prepare something called a pitch deck. But eventually, it became an exciting and interesting journey. And then gradually, one thing came after the other. People were appreciating. So one thing that really kept us going was the women that we were giving the charcoal to use for free.
Wow.
So we went to women that were already selling charcoal. I actually sat with them. How many bags do you sell a day? How much do you sell it? Do you think this thing is sustainable? Like, questions out of the box. She thought I was even doing a research for school.
Wow.
But it was all out of curiosity, just to know what we were getting ourselves involved in. And we would produce. I remember those days, we spend the whole day and we produce just like 2 bags, like less than 20 kg. But you give it to these women, they use it and like, hey, pow, you know. So we use them to validate our product.
Yeah.
So even though we didn't have any production facility, nothing, we use them to really get to know, say, oh, what we are doing is good. People like it. So they themselves now demanded the product.
Wow.
That was in Fadama and the Abeka area. So we'd go to, there's this woman that we used to sell to. She was the first woman called Antiata in Abeka. She was the only one that was bold enough to even accept it. I remember.
How did it feel when
someone those days were even
finally validated?
We're molding it with our hands.
Oh, wow.
You just do it, mold it with your hands. It looked very funny. Eventually, we bought ice cube molds.
Wow.
So we push them in, and then when this dry, it comes out cubes, like ice cubes.
Very manual.
Yeah, very, very manual. And this woman really loved it. So basically, Antiata grew her interest in doing this. She would even open one bag so that when the customer comes, she will show you, this is how it looks like in the bag.
Wow.
So one call came after the other. Trying to even get funding was also a whole process on its own. I think we've cried more than you're seeing now.
Really?
Yeah.
Walk us through some of the challenges, because we all get to see the successes.
Yeah.
And before we even get there, if you guys have any questions for Amin, I mean, he's the truest definition of a social entrepreneur, someone who's doing something to really help the community, and it's also very sustainable. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233.
Good.
What has been some of the challenges you guys have gone through?
So, like I have said before, I ended up enjoying this thing such that when I had my last fees, fortunately for me, it was University of London Law, so it was pounds. So the money was a bit huge at the time, like £2,000. It all ended up in Abu Bloshi.
Wow.
And then midway or along the line, you felt like, Charlie, your mates are already in Makola or some are already called to the bar. Are you really serious? Are you really sure this is what you want to do? You could have been one of them wearing the suits. Like, what are you even doing with your life? There were days around 12 a.m. in the night, I would drive in Accra around Osu and just be crying in the car. I remember the first real factory we built. It was a shed somewhere in Dodoa. We thought it was a bush. Nobody would even know there's anything happening there. We came there one night and almost all the machines we had installed had been stolen.
What?
Yeah. They just took them for scraps. So I think that was the biggest blow because it was the first time like, whoa, Charlie, school fees not shit. Like, how was I even going to explain to the next person? It was painful. And then you also get people cheering, Charlie, you go be. My mom, my uncles, brothers and sisters, Charlie, you've already committed yourself. If it were easy, everybody else would be doing it. Like some of these words of encouragement. So one thing that really kept me going along this whole time was because of my curiosity, I decided to read biographies.
Okay.
So you see somebody called Bill Gates, you see somebody called Zuckerberg, like immediately I hear any name, any interesting name, I'm on Wikipedia looking for that person. So I tried to know what that person went through to get to what we're seeing now, to comfort myself that, Charlie, even this guy self has been able to do it, so me too, I go fit do them. That was my strategy, besides just being depressed. The depression that came over, plenty.
How do we cope with depression? Because a lot of entrepreneurs don't discuss that. It's a very lonely path.
Yeah.
People around you probably have never experienced what you're going through.
Yeah.
Where did you find the strength to make it through?
I think the strength actually came from the people around me and the kind of things I involved myself in. So even though I wasn't even doing DJ full time, I had to invest in a full DJ setup. And music took me away from all these things. So you'd have people talk to you, Charlie, it could be. Most of them didn't even know what you were going through. Sometimes you wake up, Charlie, lorry fare, you don't even get. You even have meeting to meet some investor. Even money for fuel, you don't have it. You get there late, and they'll be like, oh, I mean, it's not serious. But you're the only one who knows how you even made it there. So most of these times, there's people around you. And I have an escape point. I put on my headphones and I've done DJing for a long time, so I know what songs to play. I know what level to even listen to, you know. So I think my escape has been my music, the people around me, and the things I read. But depression is real.
We're all so proud of you.
Thank you.
For everything that you've achieved. Where's the business now? You have a big manufacturing plant. I mean, Jesus Christ. You're really humble, but you've achieved so much. How are you able to scale up the way you've done?
Yeah. They say charity begins at home, right? So I started from home. They saw it. And I felt people didn't really understand charcoal. It felt very unusual, like, of all things you could do, charcoal.
Charcoal.
It sounded funny to even me too, but I felt like if we had understood that there was a demand for such a product, even in our market, probably would have gotten that investment long before.
Yeah.
And I also feel like nobody is ready.
Yeah.
Nobody is ever ready. So most of these investors we spoke to find a few faults here and there and they lose interest. But I really believed if they had stuck with us and really listened to, because those days we were meeting around, imagine I had built everything on my own.
Yeah.
With nothing, with no support, just family here and there. If people had really seen the fact that people don't use charcoal, they feel nobody uses charcoal. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, you talk to banks and they tell you, bring me export orders to validate your product. Like, we don't even have demand for charcoal in our own space. Do we need an export order to validate? You know, it's a whole cycle, but I think we'll get there. We'll get there. So basically, it's been my family that came around. It's been support from people around. It's crazy, but
where are you guys now? Talk to us about production
so now
capacity.
We're at a new production facility also in Dodowa, where we have a very significant production capacity.
Tell us. I mean, please, we want to know if there's a supermarket out there, restaurants, people want to order clean charcoal from you.
Yeah. So over the years, we were stocking in the shopping malls.
Okay.
But we were doing that because of the small scale capacity, even though our end game was to get it in every home.
Yeah.
So we store in the shopping malls. We're in Maxmart. We're in the Legon City Mall, the EPP Books downstairs. We're in the Doxa Mall, and we're available on Jumia. Nice. Our website, www.zaacoal.com, is also
Beautiful
active.
Website, by the way.
Thank you. The Peswa shop is also blazing. I've seen a lot of orders coming through.
Wow.
Yeah, thanks to everybody that really supported, Charlie.
People want to wholesale from you. Is there a number they can call?
Yeah,
What's the number?
There's a number. It's a very simple number, 050-700-5551.
How can this transform the way we cook?
Yeah.
Tell us the impact Zaacoal has. I think over 70% of households still use charcoal and firewood.
Yeah. Interestingly, Greater Accra uses more charcoal than any other region in the country.
Wow.
So this is to state the demand side. When you use Zaacoal, you're cleaning the streets of filth. At least we are playing our part in the coconut waste. Other people are playing their part in the plastics side.
What are we looking at here? I mean,
so this is actually my house in Fadama.
Wow.
And I was getting this much coconut waste every Sunday.
Wow.
I'm sure you can see the tracks both in front and behind. All of these videos are actually from 2013 to 2014.
Wow. So now it's like 10 times this.
Maybe.
Oh, please. So not only are we cleaning the environment from all this waste, we are also saving trees.
Yes.
So you are killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, what's next for you? I mean, what's next for Zaacoal?
Maybe export to the African sub-region and eventually maybe hit Adam. This is just the beginning. Let's see what happens.
Thank you so much. What drives you?
Can I say hunger?
Yes, you can. So we're looking at your production plants now. So you've gone from your small neighborhood in Fadama. I mean, how many people do you work with currently?
About 12.
12 people.
Yes. And then a whole army in the street collecting.
And the women who you're supplying, how many women have you supplied to in just under 10 years?
A lot. Now we are in the Medina market, Nima market, Okaishi market. People are beginning to see us everywhere.
So if there are young people watching us today and they're looking for employment opportunities, perhaps they want to be your distributor, we need to make it a mission to clean our homes from firewood and charcoal. We need to save our trees. And we also need to do something with the waste. We see coconut sellers everywhere. It's not good for our environment. So this is a brilliant opportunity for young people.
Yeah.
If people are interested in, becoming evangelists for Zaacoal, is there a number to reach you on?
Yeah, just reach out. Same number, 050-700-5551. You can reach us on all social media platforms. It's Zaacoal, or an email at info@zaacoal.com. And I just would like to say thank you to my family in general. We've had a lot of people coming in to support. Zoom Lion has also helped us in some bits. Some other waste companies are coming along. And I think together we're building a bigger company, a beautiful story.
Oh, I mean, and we're all so proud of you. I have some messages here. Soar high at Zaacoal. You're an inspiration to us all. Rudolph from UDS. Amin, can you please let us know the particular incubator or pitch programs you participated in? I might have missed that if you mentioned he's participated in so many of them. Sulley Amin, good work done. God bless you, from Joseph Jamina. If you want to touch on some of the competitions or some of the investors you've had, the most important thing is, what should keep entrepreneurs going even when everyone is saying no around them? And how do you focus on your business without getting distracted by all these competitions?
You actually took the word out of my sail. That is the no word. You hear it so many times. It actually becomes an interesting word to use. Like anytime you hear no, you just laugh it off. On to the next one.
Thank you so much. I mean, we're so proud of you, and we can't wait till every single household has Zaacoal. Let's make it our mission, especially now in COVID season. We need to protect ourselves. We can't keep inhaling these things in that are not good for us. We can't keep cutting down our trees. The future generation will need them, and we have no reason to cut down our trees when we have all this coconut waste that we can put to good use. So you can follow them on social media, Zaacoal. We're so proud of you.
Thank you, Jiva.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
Hi there. We hope you enjoyed the show.
Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends.
This is Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Join the Breakfast Daily team Monday through Fridays from 7:30 a.m. to 10. Join us for breakfast daily, only on City TV.